Hey, it's Gadget UK here again, just looking at a Sega Megadrive. This just gives a black screen, so I'm just going to quickly take it apart and have a quick look inside. You know, it never ceases to amaze me, the random shit you find in some of these things. I don't know if you can see this, might not focus very well, but there's a resistor. I'm not even sure if that's actually successfully connected to the processor pin there, or what. But, you know, all I can say is, what the fuck? You know, why would you do that? Is that a factory mod? I don't know. Very, 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 very strange. Anyway, I'm going to clean this up and then just give it another try, and then potentially consider removing that and checking the you know, and just joining it straight up, because I'm not really sure what someone was trying to achieve with that, really, if I'm completely honest. Just thought I'd show you something with this. Switch it on. Got the logic probe here. I've just probed the. Sorry, you're not really on camera there, so you can see the probe. I probed the CPU. High, 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 high. We've got high pretty much all the way along, apart from where you get to the clock pin. High. That's not the clock pin. High, 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 high. High, approaching the clock pin somewhere around here, I think. High, high, there's the clock pin. So we've got a clock, well, I don't know if it's a clean clock, but a couple of lows. But predominantly, highs have got another clock. High, 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 low. High, 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 high. Very interesting. And pretty much all the way along here, this is all highs. I think these are all data pins and address pins. So, yeah, very concerning. Something somewhere is outputting an awful lot of craps to the bus or something, I think. The only chips that are really getting hot is that main ASIC there. It's pretty hot, especially towards this lower left, lower right hand corner, and the Yamaha. The Zilog CPU there. There's a Z80 is getting a bit warm as well. Not sure. Need to do a bit more work on this one, I think. Okay, I'm not quite as concerned as I was a minute ago. As you notice, I've got a cart in now. When you've got a cart in, as you can see, pulsing, 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 pulsing. So what we're seeing is we've got life, whereas it was completely in a dead state without a car. That's low. Clock, you know, pulsing, high. Sorry, I said low, I meant high before. Pulsing, high, high. Clock, I think, low. But the nice thing about this now is we're getting a lot of signs of activity. So it's not as bad as I thought, because everything was just showing high. And I think that's just the fact that there was no cart in there. There must be a pin or something that shorts that actually enables it all. Without a cart in there, I guess everything remains in a sort of disabled state, and you just see a lot of highs on various outputs there on the processors and things. So could be a RAM fault. Not sure. There's you've got a couple of RAM chips here. I think those are probably for the processor. There should be another one somewhere for graphics. I think the graphics ones are down here. These upright ones. So I could consider just temporarily removing these and putting sockets on, swapping them around, just to see if I get a difference in behaviour. I've got another system that's faulty as well. You might be able to just borrow chips from that. I might even have some of these in stock. I've got some really, really long DRAM chips, and I'm just wondering if they're a replacement for these. Just a quick update here. Tested with headphones. Don't know if you can hear that. So despite the fact we're getting nothing on the screen, the system is actually working. So it's not a CPU problem, it's not a RAM problem. There's nothing wrong probably with the main ASICs, I wouldn't think, or the Z80. Well, none of this would be going on. You wouldn't be able to hear the sound. You know, I know that the game's working, could have a video problem here. I'm wondering if the video DAC has failed. I don't know where it is. I'm going to have to remove this heatsink to find it. But that's my next port of call, I think. Right, well, this is very interesting. You can see this. One of my previous videos, it was done yesterday, on these RGB converters there. I think it's adapter RVB. I've had to put it back as it was. It just crossed my mind that this revision here, this Megadrive, is a bit unusual in the sense that it's an RGB. It says underneath Megadrive RGB. I did look at the where's it gone now? The video DAC, you know, because I suspected it might be a fault, and then I started to rethink that. I'm looking underneath. There's lots of jumper positions where you can, you know, cut tracks and things. And I thought, okay, this is configurable. This has been designed in such a way that you can, you know, break the various tracks and things. And there was actually a wire, I think, from one of the pins. It might be the second to the top right here that goes across the composite sync, the video sync. So yeah, but the bottom line is it's working. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It just needed a clean. So I'm going to put a switch. I might do. I don't know. I might put a switch in there, so you can switch between this. I'm not even sure what to class this as. I can't find any information really about this. I know that this switcher here is something to do with CCAM. You know, French Megadrives. I'm guessing this is a model that was manufactured and produced for the French market. And whilst it doesn't actually output CCAM, because, you know, it doesn't do any well, I don't think it does, because you usually have a separate modulator unit for these. But the way the sync is generated, it must be different. Must be something different about the sync. I'm not up enough on the difference between CCAM and PAL to understand what the difference is there. But I'm guessing that's what it is. There's a difference in the sync, because that was exactly what we had to do with this, is to bypass it, just pass the sync straight through. Well, it makes kind of sense, you know, thinking about it. This is French. This said adapter, you know, RVB or whatever it was. I thought, okay, well, that's a French adapter. I wonder if this console's French, and I think that's what it is. I think these two probably came together. Someone's, I don't know, for whatever reason, decided there was something wrong with the adapter. Interesting enough, it's just gone off. Let's just switch it back on again. Yeah, so I'll just show you that. Got some weird graphic stuff going on there. Well, switch it off again. I can smell something getting hot as well. I'm not sure what. Oh, I know what it is. It's the voltage regulators. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, if you're testing one of these like this, don't leave it running for long periods of time without the voltage regulators on there. Those are steaming hot. Hope I've not damaged it. Yeah, there you go. It's still working. I need to get the heat sinks back on there though, so I'll switch that off now. Yeah, that was nearly a critical mistake there. Just bear in mind, if you're doing like working one of these exposed like this, yeah, don't forget these really do need some good heat sinks on there. So I'm going to clean all this up now, get some thermal paste on the back of these, get the heat sink back on there again. Something to point out here as well, that dodgy resistor thing, that's a standard factory issue thing. That's exactly what they did, because I've taken to bits another one which I'll show you in a minute, and that's got exactly the same mod there. So yeah, despite the fact it doesn't look very professional, that's exactly as they shipped. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I think once I've cleaned all this up, like I say, get a bit of WD-40 in the switch and the slider, clean the board up, it should be pretty much good to go. So there we go, all cleaned up now. That button could do with retro brighting. Most of the scratches have come off. There's still a few sort of pretty nasty ones as well over there. That's pretty bad. But yeah, I'm on there. But it's not too bad. It's come out really well, really. Just testing with bad Apple demo, because as far as I can tell, it's pretty intensive in terms of the memory usage. I think it's pretty much using all the RAM there at any given moment in order to you know, to cache and decompress and stuff the video. So that's a good test. But I've been playing Sonic on it for a while, so and that's been fine. But anyway, it was interesting that the fact that I had to do this, you know, revert that back. I guess because this is as I mentioned earlier, this is a French model. That's got something to do with it. I'll just show you the underneath of this actually, just for reference, just so you can see. But you can see that it says model, sorry, Megadrive RGB. Model number 1601-09. As far as I can tell, it's a very early revision Megadrive this. I would hazard a guess at maybe even revision 1, just because as you switch it on, so I'll reset it, I don't know if you've seen that,
on the early Megadrives, as far as I remember, so I've switched it off I think rather than reset, you see the produced by or under license from Sega Enterprises Limited. Could be wrong, that could have been actually, I think that might have been their attempt to get around people sort of licensing their own carts and stuff, or bypassing the Sega licensing I should say. So this might be slightly later revision, it could be a VA6 or something, I don't know. But there was nothing on the board, there was no revision on the board, so it was hard to tell whether it was, what revision it actually was. If I show you this board, without trying to damage the wire, yeah, you can see that. So it says IC BD M5 PAL. The other one just said IC BD M5 RGB, I think. No revision. So I mean, this one's another VA4, so I'm going to have to do the mod to this in order that it'll be stable with the 32X. I think it's a clock modification or something. But anyway, I'll look at that one in a minute. But the main thing is, you know, like I say, that I've got this one working now. So not sure I'm going to do this. I think my dad's after a Megadrive, so after I've cleaned that button up, might give him this one. I think it's in pretty good condition, really. It's not dissimilar to the one I'm using. Just that button. I do need to get some H2O2, I think, just to retro bright that button, but other than that, it's pretty good. Okay, let's have a look at the other one. Right, so this is the other Megadrive. It's even worse state physically than the first one. You know, there's quite a lot of scratches and stuff on it, paint worn off there. Again, very dirty. Loads, look at that scratch back there, that's pretty nasty. But I want a spare. The reason I got these two Megadrives, when they came together, it's worked out, I think, about £4 each. So I mean, the first one we've proven, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. It was that SCART box, I think, and it just needed to clean. It did give a black screen to start with, but that's what you seem to get a lot on these, and it's always the cart. You know, it's always the cart connector. So you clean that up, and I always resolder, and I did that on the other board. I don't know if I mentioned that. Resoldered all the joints underneath the connector there. I always resolder any of the questionable points. I usually do underneath the volume pot, clean off all the dirt and dust and oil, and then re-oil it. Oil the switch. I always do that. If you look back at my fixing, I think it's black screen Megadrive video, I do all the same things, but you know, that I'm talking about here, but there's just a bit more content there. I didn't want to film, you know, me cleaning all the stuff and cleaning the sockets and all the rest of it. It's just a quick video, really, just to show the status of these two Megadrives and how I got on with them, really, more than anything. I also, on the other one, when I reattached the heatsink, I put some heatsink compound on there first before I screwed the heatsink back on, so should have good thermal connectivity. But this one, again, works. I've just tested it, can't find anything wrong with it at all. So it's probably the case, you know, it's probably because I've taken it to bits that the cart goes in there a little bit easier. It's always the case, you know, you get a black screen while it's assembled, but as soon as you disassemble it, put a cart in, 9 times out of 10 you'll find these things work. It can be a bit glitchy with the cart there as you wobble it around and stuff, and that's, you know, evidence really. You just need to clean it and perhaps resolder it underneath. There's a bit of corrosion back here that I need to treat as well. It's not got under the board and stuff, if I just show you. And this one's got a revision on this one, as I showed a few minutes ago, compared to the prior board that didn't. This one's a VA4, so this is the same as the revision I've got, and I wanted one of these for a spare, so I think, just because of the condition of the case here, I'll probably keep this one as a spare. So if I just turn this over, yeah, so because this is a VA4, there'll be a revision to do. I forget exactly where it is. I'll need to look back at the service bulletin for this. I can't remember whether it's that cap there needs removing. There's a surface mount one. I think it's that surface mount one down there. I forget. So anyway, I need to do that. Otherwise, it won't work with the Sega 32X. You know, it's unpredictable. It crashes and locks up and stuff. That's a standard fault with these VA4 Megadrives. Regards the 32X, but yeah, as I was saying, there's no corrosion got on here. You can look at some flux and stuff around here. Yeah, the soldering on the cart socket looks pretty good, to be fair. Probably doesn't need redoing, but yeah, there's not really much to do with this other than just, again, clean it up, you know, oil the various things, put some thermal paste on there, and you know, reassemble it. Right, so I'm just looking at this VA4 Megadrive at the moment. and there are a couple of mods you've got to, well, one mod you've got to do to this in order to stop crashing, or lockups and things on a Sega 32X, and that is you've got to remove C100. So it's a capacitor there that's just soldered across a couple of points on the board. So if we just have a look at the board, see if we can find that one. Might need to just turn it around that way. I think it's that one there. Just have a look at the diagram again. Yeah, I'll tell you how you can work it out. I mean, you can see there's a massive sort of, if you look at that black block next to it, that's a piece of the copper trace, and that's that there. So it's that capacitor needs removing. You take that one off, and then the other one to remove is C78. Now this one's a little bit more tricky. It's, yeah, the thing that's useful on this one is you can see it says a C78 there, just under it, and there, you can see that it says C78, and you've got 3 little SMDs. And if I look back at the diagram, I'm sure I've seen a different diagram to this. Yeah, it doesn't show the other caps, but nevertheless, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one there. It's that bottom one of those 3. So I'll just remove those now and we'll give it a test. Sometimes do here, more often than not actually, in these old systems, is any shielding. So you've got bits of corrosion starting on there. That's not too bad, but you get the back there where that corrosion was on the connector. Just get some WD-40 on a rag, and instead of cleaning it with, you know, sort of water or something like that, you know, actually wipe it with WD-40. And if you go over sort of every sort of spot really on there, you can see it gets off the dirt, but it leaves a coating of WD-40 on there. And you might be thinking this is pedantic, and why the hell would you clean some shielding? But you've got to remember, you know, this is, what is it, 20 years, more than 20 years old now. If you don't do these things like while you're in here to start with, you know, what's it going to be like in another 20 years, especially after this may be stored again in a cellar or a loft or a shed or a barn or somewhere stupid. Corrosion ultimately is, you know, it's going to destroy the thing. And the shielding, you know, you get bits of corrosion on there, they're going to flake off, go onto the board, and potentially you're going to start getting shorts, you know, and you can destroy the logic and stuff on there. So, yeah, as pedantic as it is, I go over the shielding on some of these systems like so, especially ones where there's been corrosion in there, and it just helps stop it getting worse really. You know, if you stop the oxygen and moisture getting to it with a coat of WD-40, then it stands to reason it's not going to rust again, or it's going to slow the rust down to you know, a manageable state, I guess. Right, so we're reassembled here. I just want to show you the difference between before and after the polishing. You know, they're actually using the plastic polish. So obviously, you know, the plastic's looking pretty dull in a lot of places. Lots of scratches, lots of marks, lots of coloured marks, like cable burns and things, you know, where plastic's rubbed against it. So hopefully, I mean, it's not going to come out very perfect, this, but it should come out a lot better. And just to show you the amount you need, because I know, I think it was Chris Newton asked me about this yesterday, what I use, plastics, and how much. You just need a tiny little bit like that. To do maybe, I don't know, 2 inches square or something. So I just pick an area like this bit here, just focus on that area, and that's it. You know, wait till I finish that area before I put any more on. But you don't need to use masses of this at all. And the key is circular motion. Wherever you get a mark, keep putting pressure and doing circular motion around that area. And most of the marks and scratches and things should come out. You can see the rag actually goes dirty. There's dirt that's actually ingrained in the plastic that won't normally come out with normal cleaning materials. So hopefully you can tell the difference there, first pass with the polish. I'm going to give this area here another go, because you can see there's lots of scratches there, but yeah, the majority of them have come out. You know, there's still some pretty nasty marks and things on it, but it's considerably better than it was by the time I've got some, you know, giving it one more going over in areas like that, and around there, haven't really cleaned this bit, which is a bit patchy. It should look pretty good with some back to black on it. So I'll just give that another go and get the back to black on it and show you the result. So hopefully you can see there now, even the crustiest of Megadrives can come out pretty good. You know, if you look at it in the light, you can see various marks and things on it, but that's pretty good. I really didn't expect it to come out that good. It's almost as good as the other one. Yeah, really pleased with that. Right, let's just give it a try. Yeah, so that's working. I'm just going to test it with the 32X to make sure the mod there's works. Yeah, so it seems to be working. Going to leave that on for 20 minutes just to make sure it doesn't crash. Not even have a play on it for a bit, I think. Not got sound. Oh, I know why I've not got the cable, the sound cable plugged in. That's okay, I'll connect up to the front in a minute. But yeah, something I'd just like to ask if anybody has got any information. And that's these RGB Megadrives, the first one I showed, that uses this adapter, you know, RGB adapter. I could do with working out how to convert the actual Megadrive to work with to output a normal sync signal. I don't know, I don't get it, I don't quite get what's different. I'm assuming the sync signal's the thing. So if anybody knows anything about that, how to convert one of those, you know, an RGB Megadrive to PAL-I Megadrive, please let me know. Other than that, I'm going to have to do a bit of research online, because ultimately, I didn't show it, but I tested the first Megadrive, the RGB one, the French one, with my 32X, and it just doesn't work, just nothing at all. And it's the sync thing again, you know, it's the sync that's causing the problem. So I do need to do a mod on that if I'm going to give that to my father, because he may want to get 32X at some point, possibly even a Mega CD. So I'd appreciate if you know anything about that, you can help me, point me in the right direction, you know, let me know. Anyway, I'll have a play on this now. Thanks for watching, I'll see you soon.